All right, I think I just get started then. Welcome, everybody. It's a little disconcerting not seeing all of you here, but I know you're there and you're out there. And I just want to say, number one, thank you so much for Women of the Future for having me here, and also for everybody in the audience who's listening now or in the future. Thank you for being here. Part of the mission of Collab.Land and also my personal mission is to have more women in the space and have more women in crypto, blockchain, Web3, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just really grateful to be here and being able to share with all of you. So thank you very much. My talk today is called Collaborating with AI, a promising future for DAOs. I am Anjali Young. I am a DAO officer for Collab.Land. I am the co-founder and the chief community officer for Abridged. Collab.Land started off as a project of Abridged, just a small experiment of Abridged, and now is its own DAO using the Colorado digital co-op structure. And so we use a legal structure for our DAO. So let's get started. All right, and today we're going to talk specifically about how AI is going to unlock DAOs for all of us. All right, so let's start with the current status of both DAOs and AI to give you a little bit of background on what we're going to be talking about today. So, starting with AI, the way we're using AI today, I will tell you how I'm personally using AI today, is through the large language model, which is the LLMs, which is ChatGPT. Actually, these slides were created with ChatGPT. These slides are based on an article that was written with ChatGPT, which meant I had some ideas. We were able to put those ideas into some bullet points, turn it into an article. That article was published on NASDAQ. And then now this talk is a culmination of everything that came from that article. And just putting into ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT to just spit out some slides for me, and here we go. I think of it as being able to like grow extra arms, like to extend myself, where the ideas still have to come from me, but I'm able to be productive in a whole new, faster way. And now let's move to DAOs, which is kind of the opposite. DAOs are decentralized autonomous organizations. They are community-led governance, member-led governance for organizations, and it can be for anything. With Collab.Land, we are a project that services 50,000 tokenized communities. We're the creators of token gating. And so we're using a DAO for next steps on what's happening with Collab.Land. But DAOs can be anything. They can be mission driven. They can be fundraising for a school. They can be planting a community garden. They can be a whole layer one protocol. It could really be any kind of a community or member led organization. Now, the problem with DAOs, and now we're going to get into the good stuff, the AI we're already using. And the problem with DAOs is that they are manual and they were fragmented. And what does that mean? That means if you're in a DAO, in order to coordinate on a DAO, in order to keep involved with a DAO, to know what's happening with the DAO, you are going to be on Discord, you are going to be on Telegram, you are going to be on Discourse, you're going to be watching Snapchat. You're going to be having to follow Twitter to see what the sentiment of what's going on in the DAO. Right now, there is a Ape DAO election happening, and you see people campaigning on Twitter. So it wouldn't be enough that you were even in the Ape DAO channels. You would also have to be on Twitter and Discord and Telegram and anywhere else that these groups are meeting. So that is the current state of DAOs. Imagine now you're in one DAO. And now imagine you're in 5 DAOs. Like, how is it possible for you to be able to be competently aware enough to participate in those DAOs with voting and governance while you're trying to keep all of this information and all of these different places, knowing that manually you have to go to multiple platforms just to stay in touch with what's happening with your DAO? Imagine trying to amplify that. It's just not possible. And the good news is that AI is going to be able to streamline so many of these interactions. Some of it's happening today, some of it is 100% coming in the future. So definitely watch this space. Now, things to know about AI and what AI opens up to us in terms of opportunities. AI thrives on data. The more information you give it, the better it is. The more data you put it into, like articles and maybe your whole Discord conversations and all of your voting history, everything you give it, it's going to be able to help you formulate more of what you want and be able to give you more thoughtful answers of what you want. Number two, it never gets tired. One of the main problems that happen with DAOs, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, is people get tired. People don't want to answer the same question over and over and over again. And the beauty of AI is it won't get tired. Every time you have a new person joining your community, you can ask those same questions over and over again, and AI is going to be there to answer those questions. And another thing that AI can do that for DAOs specifically that would be extremely tedious to do on a manual level is pattern matching and finding correlations. What are the trends in my DAO? What are people interested in? What type of proposals are getting passed? And what is a constant thread amongst those? What about the ones that are taking much longer in the public comment period? You know, a proposal comes up, for those of you that are not familiar with DAOs, you have a proposal that comes up, you have a public comment period, and then you have a voting period. Well, that public comment period is really where the meat of all the discussion happens. Which kind of proposals have more of a public comment period? Where is there the spiciest takes? Where is there the most interesting conversation? And what kind of information about the sentiment of the group itself can you learn during public comment period? For an individual or even a small team, a core team, or even the DAO officers to go through every single proposal and trying to assess what's happening in the public comment period would just be impossible to do. And so for AI, it's quick. And so we're going to start seeing pattern matching happening with AI and DAOs. And that's going to help DAOs determine how they should move forward, not only from the current vote that's happening, but from historical data of the voting. So there's some ways that when you can think of AI as being like this hardworking personal assistant that you're going to be able to train, that's going to be able to do all of this work that humans have had to do so far and have really been a stumbling block to the adoption of DAOs and the adoption of really member controlled organizations, right? Because it's always about that situation where you have how do you get information to the right people? How do you collect that information? How do you store that information? And then when new people join the groups and when you want to disperse information, how do you do that in an effective way? Well, the collection part, AI is going to be able to handle the collection, the pattern matching, the information around what's been happening historically that could be tedious. Now it won't be tedious anymore because AI thrives on data. Like I said, my point number one. Now, doesn't mean that it's going to be there's a free lunch for humans here. I will say that. With AI, this is not a situation where AI is going to take over the world in that it's going to replace humans and our abilities to think, to dream, to innovate, to inspire. None of that is going away with AI. In order for AI to be a tool that is going to be able to we're going to be able to use the most effectively, we're going to have to go for concrete, measurable goals, which means there's a bigger job on the creators of DAOs. There's a bigger job on the creators of communities. Not only are you going to be doing now the grunt work of inviting people, managing people, answering all your questions, running all your meetings, running all your voting, but now you're going to have to go up a level. What do I really want to accomplish here? What are we as a group trying to accomplish? What do we want to do together in this world moving forward? What are our missions? What are our vision and what are our values? Answering those hard questions, AI is not going to be able to do. So in order for us to use AI the most effectively, we are going to look at ourselves and say, what are we trying to accomplish with our DAO or our community? And a lot of communities do become DAOs. Anytime you've been a part of a group where people have said, let's take a vote, that is a DAO. And so in this situation, how do we determine what should happen next with a DAO? AI can help with pattern matching that way, but what are you trying to accomplish ultimately with the DAO? What is the vision of the DAO? It's going to have to be us that does it. So we need to, my big takeaway from this slide, which is we need to set the stage for how AI will serve us. being specific about goals is, and we can talk a little bit about this right now, being specific about the goals means that the core team is still important. We talk a lot about solopreneurs and whether or not AI is going to allow solopreneurs. Absolutely. For myself, I will tell you, I run the comms team. And along with using AI, I've been able to do a lot of the work on my own and lean less on my team, which means my team can even do more work. So that way I can take on more responsibility using AI. However, the core team itself is always going to be key here in terms of the vision of what you're trying to accomplish, what your DAO is trying to do. So there is still an opportunity for humans to be involved in this, but think of AI as an opportunity to expand yourself. All right. So, what is coordination tax? When we talk about DAOs a lot, the word coordination tax comes up a lot, which is like, how do people come together and work together without too much friction? We are a distributed team. So I can tell you we're experts in coordination tax. Our company, Collab.Land, is on every continent. And we have people in Dubai, we have people in Singapore, we have people in China, we have people in India, we have people in Canada, we have people in South America. We literally are a global team. And so we deal with coordination tax a lot. But what do you do? This is another level with DAOs. What do you do when you have a group that has fluid membership? Now, DAO membership is usually based on token ownership, or in some situations, you can have sweat equity, and that is going to be a more stable group where people have participated and done some work in order to earn their way into the DAO. But most DAO membership overwhelmingly is based on token membership, which is you buy a token and you can join the community, and that token represents an opportunity for you to vote in that DAO and determine what the next steps for the DAO what's gonna happen with that. Well, how can AI help with coordination tax? Number one, like I mentioned earlier, it is going to be able to summarize all of the historical data, all of the historical voting that's happened in your DAO. It is going to be able to tell the new person that joins the DAO, when you say, tell me about this DAO, what are the votes that have happened in this DAO? What have been the most successful initiatives that have happened in this DAO? What are the types of proposals that get passed in this DAO? I want to know that right now, right when I join. Now you don't have to deal with a situation where somebody has to answer those questions. You can ask the AI, the chatbot. For Collab.Land, we have one called Spark AI that's used in Collab.Land communities. But really, for any DAO moving forward, this is absolutely going to be key, which is anybody that is joining that DAO is going to be able to get instant idea and answer all the questions that are relevant for them. And so there's going to be no more individual person. You don't have to meet the right person. I don't have to look for Anastasia, or I don't have to look for Anne Marie. I don't have to look for James or Raymond. I'm going to be able to ask AI the questions that are pertinent to me that I might have, number one, any time of day I have. Again, like I talk about DAOs and how global distributed corporations are all over the place. We are completely distributed over all time zones. So if you can imagine how difficult that is to coordinate, to get together, well, you don't have to get together when it comes to a DAO. You're going to be able to use AI to ask any questions any time of day. You're not going to have to deal with the situation where you send an email into the abyss or send a chat message in Discord and wait for somebody to respond to you. You're at your fingertips are going to be able to have these questions answered for you by AI, which is going to really help a lot when you think about this fluid membership. Fluid membership means people are coming and going all the time. That's one thing you don't have to deal with, right? When you have a employment situation. However, in a DAO, when it's just based on the token, you have fluid membership, meaning I can buy a token today and I can vote. And then I can say, you know what? I am not into this group. I'm leaving. Then you have another group coming in, and then another group and another group. You're always having people coming and going. Ideally, you have consistency and you have built that emotional relationship with people, so they do want to stick around. But the nature of blockchain and the nature of tokens themselves and being liquid means people will be coming in and out of your DAO, and you will be entering and leaving DAOs. And so one of the ways to maintain that consistency within groups is having a source of truth that anybody can access at any time. So that's one of the beauties of it, which is onboarding. How do you even onboard in a way that is sustainable? And AI is going to give us that opportunity to onboard in a way that's sustainable. Second, you're going to be able to have consistent and unbiased information coming at you. When you have humans, and that's the nature of being human, we don't want to share all of the bad things, right? Especially maybe if we've come from the corporate world where we haven't been in a place where our vulnerability or asking for help or sharing some of the challenges and the trials and the trouble that we've had in the group wants to be shared so openly. Well, with AI, you're going to be able to ask, what proposals didn't pass? What are the major criticisms? Who are the people that are providing this criticism? What is their stake in the DAO? How long have they been members of the DAO? Share out of all those proposals that didn't pass, what came out of that? Was there any collaboration that came out of that? Was there some way to move forward for that? How does this DAO deal with conflict? How does this DAO deal with anons? Part of DAOs and blockchain and the way that we're working together now includes both anons and known people and pseudo-anonymous people. So how does this DAO deal with that type of personality? In which ways are people valued in this DAO? To have that honest, truthful, unbiased information about a group that you're about to join is crucial. And like I mentioned earlier, we want people to stay in DAOs. We want people to stay in organizations. Of course, that's the ideal scenario. You join a group, you work together closely, you collaborate, you build relationships together, and then you work for a common good together. However, in situations where people are tending to hide, you're not going to be able to build that trust. And trust is foundational for people wanting to stay in groups. They want to feel trusted and they want to trust others. And AI is going to somehow backhand us into vulnerability here. Because now when we have AI, which is going to share information, positive or negative, without our consent, about our historical data, right? It's not going to make a judgment. I shouldn't say consent, but it's judgment. They're not going to make a judgment over which information is good and which information is bad. And so they're going to share with transparency. And what I am offering is that this transparency that AI is going to provide us is actually going to add to vulnerability within groups. And vulnerability is going to lead to trusted relationships, which is going to give us stability in DAOs. So there's just a lot of coordination tasks that's going to be resolved with AI in terms of fluid membership and new people coming in, and also information. There will be no more gatekeepers to the information. Everyone who joins a group is going to be able to get that truthful information, unbiased information. And then finally, there is a whole other topic of cross-DAO collaboration. DAOs, once we get to this point with DAOs using AI within DAOs themselves for onboarding, for consistency, for record keeping, for knowing where your DAO is going and what's interesting for DAOs, then, and what DAOs want, you're going to be able to move into cross-DAO coordination, which means DAOs working together, people that are passionate about their particular mission, working together with others. And that's just a huge unlock. And I can't wait for that to happen. Finally, and I'm kind of coming to my end here, is AI is not the future. It is the present. For those of you who have not started delving into AI, the way I use AI every day is through LLMs, which is ChatGPT. Definitely check it out, ChatGPT. It is here and waiting for you. This is around the corner for us. We've already started using AI within our DAO. I have no doubt that more DAOs are going to start using AI. The beautiful part about using AI in DAOs is that DAOs are no longer going to be limited to people who have time, who people have money, and people who are not working. So now I want, for women specifically, AI is going to allow women who have other jobs, who have families, who have other responsibilities to be able to participate in DAOs. We don't have the time to invest multiple hours a day trying to track everything that's happening in multiple DAOs or even one DAO. But now with AI, we're going to be able to have that information at our fingertips. It is going to save us time. And what that means is we as women are going to be able to participate more in this future. Blockchain, crypto, DAOs, all of these organizations are about empowerment for everybody, empowerment for the token holders, empowerment for the people who are participating in the network. We do not want to be left behind here. And AI is going to be the way that we're going to be able to get there. So, what I want to say to everyone listening is please get involved. We'd love to have you. This is such an important time. We're seeing a new type of technology emerge right now with blockchain. We have a world's computer. Everybody is able to work together for the very first time using same shared digital assets. We're all working off the same shared public blockchains. Like, this is a huge opportunity for people, especially people that have been traditionally cut out of wealth building and cut out of having opportunities. So I just want to encourage every single person that's listening right now to take a look at DAOs, to take a look at blockchain, and to just get involved any way you can, because the future is here and more is even coming. This is me. I'm Anjali Young. On Twitter, I am Dama de Roca, which is Lady from Boulder in Spanish. Our Twitter account for Collab.Land is at collab_land. On LinkedIn, I'm Anjali Young, all one word. And just a final plug for our movie series, Collab.Land produced a series of short documentaries called Let's Form Group. They're a series of 7 short documentaries, and they focus on crypto communities, ones that use Collab.Land, ones that are DAOs, ones that are using voting, some that are artists, all different types of crypto communities. Give them a shot. They're really meant for a non-crypto audience, and they're really beautiful and special, and just an opportunity to learn a little bit more about what's happening in the space. And yeah, we'd love to have you. So thank you so much.